Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today in this tutorial I'm going to show you how we can create this animated image carousel in React Native. So here, as you can see, this is the image carousel, and here we can see we have an animation. So here in the pagination we can see a beautiful animation for the active item, and here also we can see that the active one, the main image which is being shown, that is in a bigger size, and the other images which are previous and the next, those are little bit smaller, and it is having a proper animation, a proper transition when the image is sliding. So this is the image carousel which we are going to create in this tutorial, and also you can see it is auto playing itself. So this is what we are going to create today in this tutorial, and for this I am going to use React Native Reanimated package to create these animations. So if you are interested in these kinds of tutorial, then hit the like button, subscribe to my channel for more tutorials like this, and don't forget to hit the notification bell icon so that you get notified whenever I post a new tutorial on this channel. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. So here I have created a new Expo project, and in this project I have added few images. So here image 1 to image 5, I have added these 5 images for this project, and I have created this data directory where I have this slider data file, and here we have the image slider data. Okay, so these are the image slider data which I am going to use for our image carousel, and this is the type of it, and the image type is image source prop type, which is coming from React Native. So these are the things which I have added to this project, and now here you can see we have the boilerplate, so we need to delete those things. I don't need this tabs directory, so I'm getting rid of this. I don't need these files, and let's delete these components, constants, hooks and scripts. So I'm deleting these files, and along with that I have this error. So let's create our first file, which is index.tsx, and let's call it page, and I'm providing a container style over here. Let's provide flex1, justify content center, and align items center. And here for the layout, let's get rid of the unnecessary codes which I'm not using, and here instead of tabs it will be index. So here we can see this file is being rendered, right? And now I'm going to create a directory called components, and within it I will create slider.tsx component. Let's import it here. Now we need to create this slider over here. So here first I will create this flat list, and for the flat list data I will provide the data which we have here. So this image slider data I'm going to provide here. For render item we will get this item and index, and we will pass that to the slider item. So we are going to render this slider item over here, and we can create slider item component within the components directory, and here we are going to take item and index. So the item would be this image slider type, and then we have the index, that would be a number. So we can accept item and index over here. Now here first let's provide item title, and we need to import this slider item. Now save it. So along with the save, here we can see the list of item present. So here let's provide the image. So for the source of the image I will provide item image, and let's provide style. For the image width I will provide 300, and for the height I will provide 500. So here we have the image. Now let's make it horizontal. Now let's provide some style here. So let's provide item container. Let's create the style here. First I will provide justify content center, align item center, Then I will provide gap 20. For the width of it, I will provide width from dimensions. So let's get screen width. Okay, so like this I will provide it, and with horizontal I will provide show horizontal scroll indicator as false, so that this horizontal scroll bar gets disappeared. So now save it, and after that I will provide paging enabled. So with that I can get this proper snapping effect. So right now we have basic setup of our carousel is done. Now here with this image I want to provide a linear gradient effect on top of this image, and for that I have already installed Expo Linear Gradient package in this project. Here I can use that. So here I need to import linear gradient from Expo Linear Gradient, and within that I can provide the text, and for this gradient I need to provide the colors, and first color I will provide transparent, and for the second color I will provide this RGBA color. And now for the style of it I will create a background style, and here let's create that, and first it will be position absolute. Then I need to provide a height and width of it, and it will be the same height and width of this image, which will be 500, and the width would be 300. Yeah, 300. Okay, so here we can see the gradient. Along with that let's provide a padding 20, and now at this time I want to provide a border radius to this image, which will be 20. So now as I have provided a border radius 20 to the image, I need to provide that same border radius to this background also, because in this linear gradient here it is not showing that. Here it is showing the border radius because here we have the transparent color, but here as we have this dark color, so we don't have the border radius. So that's why I need to provide the border radius to this linear gradient also, and now it's looking good, right? And now let's provide the content here. So for the text, first we will have the title and then the description, and here we can see the text, but we need to position it at the bottom, and at the top at the right side we will have an icon. So let me create that icon also, then I will position those properly. So here for the icon I have created another view, and let's provide touchable opacity, and this touchable opacity needs to be imported from React Native. Now within this touchable opacity let's provide the icon, and that icon will be from Icons. And for the icon I will provide heart outline. For the size of it I will provide 24, and let's provide the color white. So here we can see the icon. Now let's position this properly, and for that first here I need to provide justify content space between. So now this icon is at the top and the text are at the bottom, because we have this view and this view, and we have provided space between for this background style, right? So here I can provide align items as flex end to position it here, and for this one let's provide title and description. So let's create this. First I need to provide the color, then for the font size I will provide 18. For the font weight let's use 600, and for the letter spacing I will use 1.5. Now after the title let's create description. Here also it will be white color first, then for the font size let's provide 12, and for the letter spacing I will provide 1.2. So now it's looking good, and along with this here I want to provide gap 10. Okay, so now it's looking good for all of the items, but here for this icon I want to provide a style in this touchable opacity. So let's create icon. For the background color of it I will provide this RGB background. Let's provide padding 5, and for border radius I will use 30. So now it's looking good, right? So our design is complete. Now we need to implement the carousel animation, and for that here I will take props as item list, and the item list will be array of image slider type, and I will take the item list, and here for the data I will provide the item list, and let's provide the item list here, and it will be image slider data. So now first here I am going to create a shared value called scrollX, and I will provide 0 value as of now, and this use shared value is imported from React Native Reanimated, and here I can change it to animated flat list, and this animated is also from React Native Reanimated. So this is now animated flat list, and for this on scroll I will provide on scroll handler. Now let's create that, and it will be use animated scroll handler, and this use animated scroll handler is also from React Native Reanimated. Now here for the on scroll we can update the value of this scrollX, and here it would be this event.contentOffset.x. So we will update the x offset value to this scrollX value, and we need to pass that to our slider item. So here first we need to take that, it will be shared value, and the value type would be number, and this shared value is imported from React Native Reanimated. So here we can get that, and we will use that later. Now let's first provide that scrollX value here. Now let's create a animated style constant, and it will be const, and it will be use animated style, and for this I will return this transform. First it will be translate x. So let's provide the animation, and for that we need to use this interpolate function, and it will be based on the scrollX value. Now after that we need to provide the input range, and the input range would be index -1, that means the previous item, then the current item, and then it will be index +1, and along with this we need to provide width. We need to multiply with the width for each item, because we have the full width for this carousel. So this is our input range, and for the output range we need to provide width multiplied by 0.25, then 0, then for the next item it would be width multiplied by 0.25. So for the previous item it would be minus width multiplied by 0.25, and for the next item it would be plus width multiplied by 0.25, and then we need to provide extrapolation dot clamp, and this is also imported from React Native Reanimated, right? Now to implement that we need to change this view to animated view, and let's import that animated, and then let's provide the view, and here we need to close that. So here along with this we need to provide this rn animated style. So here we can see this is how it's showing right now. So it is showing previous item little bit and the next item little bit here. So this translate x provided that. Now after this translate x I need to provide the scale, and let's provide the animation for it, and here the value of it will be the same and the input range will also be the same. However, the output range would be a different one. It will be 0.9 for the previous, and same would be for the next item, and for the active one it would be scale 1 as normal. So now let's save it, and it is having a problem because I need to provide this extrapolation clamp, and here also I have made a mistake. The scale would be within this curly bracket. It should have a separate curly bracket for this property. Now let's save it. Now with the save, we can see we have the proper scaling, right? So that slide transition animation is done. Now we need to create the pagination, and for that here we need to provide the pagination, and let's create that component first. So here let's provide the pagination, and here we can see the pagination text. So here it is. Now for the pagination I will require items, and those items would be image slider type, and it would be an array of that. Then I will require pagination index, that would be a number, and then I will require the scrollx value as I have needed here. So it would be shared value from React Native Reanimated, and the value type of it would be number. So let's accept those here, and here let's provide those. So here first for the item I need to provide the item list, then for the scrollx we need to provide the scrollx value, and then for the pagination index I will create a new state, and I will provide 0 as the initial value of it, and let's pass the pagination index here. So here let's provide a container style. Flex direction of it would be row. Then for the height I have provided 60, and for the justify content and align items I have provided center. And here for the items let's provide the view, and this view will be the dots which will be presented here for the slide items. So let's create the dot. So here we have the item, and here we need to provide the key. So this is the pagination dots which have been created. Now we need to display the active one, and for that here we need to update the value of the pagination index. So here now if we check, if the pagination index is matching with the index, then it will be this dark color, otherwise this gray color, which is the same. Now save it. So here we can see right now this is active, and if I change this value to 1, then it is a different one. If it is 2, then it is a different one, and so on, right? So like this we need to update this one. So to update it, here we need to provide some property value, and that would be this viewability config callback pairs, and let me create that here, and it will be a reference by using useRefHook. And here we need to provide two values. The first one would be this viewability config. We don't need to provide it here, but it would be the same as this one, so that's why I have copied the property from there. And the other one would be another property which is on viewable item change, and it is also similar. Here we don't need to provide that, we will provide that here, and we need to create those here. And for this viewability config I need to provide this item visible percent threshold as 50. And now for this on viewable items changed, let's create that viewable items, and it would be type of view token, which needs to be imported from React Native, and it is an array of that. So we need to accept this viewable items as a prop, and then let's check if viewable items 0 dot index not equal to undefined and not null, then we can set the pagination index value as this viewable items index value. And here we need to provide this for this viewability config callback pairs. Now we can see that whenever we are changing the item, that time it is getting updated and we are getting the proper response of that, right? So now here let's create PG animation style, and it will be use animated style from React Native Reanimated, and it would be for dot width. And to provide the animation we need to have the interpolate function, and let's provide the value of it. And for the input range it would be same as this one, so I can copy it from here, and we need to provide the width as well, so let's copy that. And we need to update the import for the dimension. Now for the output range we need to provide the same width, which is 8 for the previous and the next item, but for the active item I will provide 20. Now let's return the width, and the new width would be this dot width. And here let's provide the animated style. Okay, it is having an error, and that is because I am using animation style here, but I am not using animated view. I need to use that animated view, so it would be animated dot view, and this animated needs to be imported from React Native Reanimated. Now let's see. So here we are seeing the animation, but the items are missing here, and that is because I need to provide extrapolation clamp. Now we can see it is perfect. Let's reload once. Okay, so it is working perfectly well, right? Now I want to create a loop with these items, so after reaching to the last item it will loop through all of these items again. For that, here I will create a new state called data, and for this I will provide item list, and for the flat list I will provide this data, and for on end reached I will set the data. I will add the item list data to this data when the end reached, and here for the on end reached threshold I will provide 0.5. that means when the end item is 50% visible, that time this on end reached function will trigger. So now let's scroll. So here we can see that we have this loop present properly, right? So it's working perfectly well. And here for this scroll event throttle I will provide 16. This provides a seamless scroll experience, so that's why I have provided it. It has nothing to do with this particular part, it is for the scrolling. So the loop is working fine, but here we can see the pagination is not working properly for the loops. For the first time it is working perfectly well as it was before, but when the loop is started, that time this is not working. And here let's provide it. So here we can see pagination index is not getting refreshed, it is increasing, and we have multiple logs for the same value because I have provided this console log within this map function. That is why it is logging the output multiple times. Otherwise if we see the value, then we can see it keeps increasing. We need to fix that, we need to update that, and that we can do here by providing this. Now if we save and let's reload, then we can see 0 1 2 3 4, then again we have the 0 value, right? And right now we can see our pagination is working. We have the active item indicator properly placed over here, and we don't have this dot width animation working properly. And I have tried to figure out how to make this work, but I haven't found any solution for this. So this is how it is as of now. If we want to use loop functionality, then we will not have this dot animation style. So in that case, we can comment it out. We can use this color indicator now. So let's reload this. So right now we don't have the width, we have this different color for the active item. And that is how it is if we want to use the loop functionality. If you guys have any solution to it, then you can let me know by commenting down below, and by this you will help others as well. So now the loop functionality is complete. Now I want to provide another last feature, which is the autoplay feature. For that, first I need to create a reference variable, and that will be useAnimatedRef, and that is for animated flat list, and it would be type of any. Now let's provide this ref to this animated flat list, and after that let's create is autoplay state, and by default we can set it to true. Then let's create interval, and this is also a reference variable, so I have used this useRefHook, and the type of it would be Node.js timeout. Then after that let's create another useSharedValue as offset. So these are the things which we will require. Now let's implement the autoplay in useEffectHook, and it will trigger if is autoplay changed, or if offset change, or the width changes. We need this width also to implement the autoplay. So now let's check if is autoplay equal to true. Then we will do the autoplay. We will set the interval, and I will provide this value. Within this interval it will do the autoplay, and for the autoplay we need to update the offset value, and we need to update it by the width of the screen. Else if is autoplay is not true, then we will clear interval, and also we need to provide the clear function. So within the return we need to provide this clear interval as well. So now we have the use effect completed. Now with this we need to provide this use derived value, and this use derived value needs to be imported from React Native Reanimated, as this use effect is a hook from React, so as this use derived value also. And for this one let's provide a scroll2 function, and this scroll2 is from React Native Reanimated. It is not the default one, it is from React Native Reanimated. And here we need to provide the ref, then the offset value, then 0, and then it would be true. Now save this. Now after saving, here we can see it is autoplaying by itself, right? Here let's get rid of this console log, and here let's change the value of it. So here we can see we have a glitch over here. So when we are scrolling by ourselves, that time it is not stopping the autoplay and it is increasing the value. That we need to fix, and for that here on scroll begin drag I will provide set is autoplay as false. On scroll end drag set is autoplay as true. Now let's save it. Let's reload it first. So it is autoplaying by itself, and if I am sliding, that time it is not autoplaying by itself, right? Now let's update the time once again to slow it a bit. And here also we can see that glitch. So finally we need to provide on momentum end, we need to update the scroll x value, because when it's getting scrolled that time we are updating it, but when it is auto playing that time we are not updating it. So we need to update this by this on momentum end. So now finally saved it and let's see. So it is auto playing properly. Now let's do the sliding. Okay, so now I have updated the value to this value, and now if I slide, then also we can see that glitch is persist, and that is because here I have made a mistake. I am updating the scroll x value, but I need to update the offset value, because by the offset we are providing the autoplay, right? Let's reload it. Now the autoplay is working perfectly well. Now let's do the sliding or scrolling, whatever you say. And when we are scrolling, that time it is stopped properly and it is starting from that point. It is not updated the index value by itself, right? So now it is working perfectly well. Now finally I can update the value here, and let's do a final reload. So it's working perfectly well now for the autoplay. Let's do the scrolling. It started auto playing from that point where I have stopped scrolling, right? So that's perfect. So this is the tutorial, guys. I hope you have learned something new from this tutorial. If you do so, then hit the like button, subscribe to my channel for more tutorials like this, and let me know by commenting down below. If you have any kind of suggestion for me, then also let me know. And don't forget to share this tutorial with your friends and colleagues, and I will see you guys in my next tutorial. In the meantime, have a great day. Goodbye.